Hey everyone, today is an incredible milestone. 20 years ago to the day when I'm recording this video, Amorphous released Divinity. The video clip that would literally change my life and forge me as a metalhead I am today. So on March 29th, I think, Amorphous released Tuonera. And back in the day in 1999, I was 14 years old and I was living in the Netherlands still. And at that point, at least in the Netherlands, metal was still something prominently shown on TV. You actually had like the top 40 and that kind of stuff, and metal would often appear in there, like Slipknot has appeared in there, Amorphous appeared in there, you know, bands like After Forever, Within Temptation, Rammstein. Like there was no limit to what type of metal would be shown. Metal was actually on the foreground still back then, at least. On some music channels, the normal music channels. And as some of you know, like in the three metal songs that made me who I am today, Divinity actually is one of those songs. It's the second song. I was bullied in the past, and while I was being bullied, my bully, he listened, and like the kind of like nasty shit, you know, like stabbing and like every fucking day getting beat up, like it was fucking awful. At one point, like, I broke down, I decided to change schools. Now, my bully, he listened to Slipknot, so that's how I got introduced to Slipknot. And I bought it, you know, and I actually like Slipknot and shit, but I got into it because I would try to find anything to, like, please this asshole. And at that point, I switched schools. In between that period, Divinity appeared on TV. I was sitting at home in a period where I was switching schools. This clip appeared on TV. And it just like, it was like this click in my head, you know. The singer, Pasi Koskinen, he looked so fucking cool. I saw this guy and I was like, oh my god, this guy looks like a fucking god. He had like the long, like semi-curly hair. He had like the red locks and everything. The fucking awesome black clothes he was wearing. I was listening to this music and the instruments being used, the way the drumming was done, like super like this imploding kind of drumming sound. And like the guitars and shit and everything, and then these vocals started appearing, like the mix between the clean vocals and the growling, and I was listening to this and I was like, this is my shit. This is my shit. This is actually a metal made for me, that defined me as a person who I was back then, who I still am today. I still listen to this shit, I still listen to this stuff every single day, and the metalhead I am now, he was born at that exact moment when Divinity appeared on TV for the first time. Amorphous is one of those bands that changed so much during the years, but every time they changed, and with every album they release, and every album is like completely different from what they did before, they still kept that perfect metal intact. Like the style, like when you have things from like Far From the Sun and to the stuff like like today, and even to like Vogue and the Crowley or like the Korean Isthmus, like everything is so different. They used to be so fucking dark, super black, and now they have like, they're super melodic at this point. And every single time I love their albums and it's so good. And when Divinity released, when Tuonera released, Like all of these songs, like the intro of like The Way, I fucking love that song. You got like Greed, Withered, Rusty Room, Summer's End, especially like Rusty Moon and Summer's End. Like these songs have such an insanely unique sound, which is why to this day it's still one of my favorite metal albums ever. Let alone the fact that it is literally, like Divinity is literally the song that made me who I am today. And like for 20 years now I've been listening to this album non-stop all the time. It's such a gorgeous album. And it's like a perfect like entryway, I feel, where people who aren't necessarily into metal can still enjoy this album for what it is, because it's extremely melodic. It's like one of those turning points where they started to introduce like more melodic aspect, still combined with like these awesome growling. Like, oh man, absolutely love doing it. It's a bit more folk-like. I think after this they released M Universum, for example, which became a bit more dark again, which is, I prefer that honestly. But this album, it like shaped me as a metalhead that I am today. All of these songs, I love the vocals, the fact that especially back then Amorphous, they based their vocals on Finnish folklore, the Kalevala, which is like a book of like folklore and legends and that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I think like the mysteriousness of the lyric, it just helped a lot and me like getting sucked into this music. Like not everything just needs to be like straightforward when it comes to lyrics. You don't need like okay, like we're talking about today's shit, you know, we're talking about despair kind of shit. Like it could be a lot more poetic, and that's what Amorphous showed me with Divinity. The fact that metal could be so much more poetic and so much more melodical, and still keeping those awesome fucking growls and that kind of shit. And that just, it's perfection. And still to this day, like in the years, I still perfected the kind of metal that I love. Like I specifically love like black metal and depressive black metal, which I feel like stems from Tuonela, where I had this waypoint that put me on a path of, like I said, making me the metalhead I am today. Exactly 20 years ago. Holy shit! 20 years ago. It was such a long journey. And still to this day I enjoy to the max every single release Amorphous is releasing. Now, do I wish they were a bit more dark still? Yeah. But they still have the growl. Even Tomi Yutsun, who does the vocals today, still can do these amazing growls. And they still mix it with these perfect melodies, and the lyrics are still just as inspired as they were back then. It's just a lighter Amorphous, I guess. Something that appeals even more to a broader audience. And still, to just absolute perfection. I just wanted to talk about this, like celebrate the release of Tuonela, specifically the release of Divinity, because it was such a huge impact. It was like it's a foundation, a building block of the person I am today, and that's not even an overstatement. That is literally how much Divinity meant to me and why I really wanted to talk about this. Thank you guys for watching, and stay real.